professionals thinking that they don't need to bring up any money issue on their wedding day.
Well, no, you just said it now.
Now let me say that like I don't have a hot potato in my mouth.
Okay. Shall I say what it was, or you
Yes,
should
please
it?
say what it was.
Oh, God. Right, trying to remember now. Right, okay, so this is about a videographer who was reaching the end of their booked time, and there were still things left to videograph.
The bottom line is, should you address the issue of charging extra more than you obviously communicated to your client beforehand because you're doing overtime?
Yeah, exactly.
Should
so
you-
you're getting closer to time. So like I've seen this actually a couple of times, like from the DJ side
Yeah.
and other photographers that that are there on the day.
Yeah.
So dinner's gone on a bit too long,
Yeah. Sure.
and then somebody wants to do some sort of speech or some sort of game, and that's then pushing the timeline back.
Sure.
And we still haven't opened the dance floor.
No, because you don't have a wedding planner on board.
They're only
Sorry.
so
Book me.
so you get to so they're booked till like 10 o'clock,
Yep.
and yeah, the opening dance hasn't been done.
No. Because they don't. No.
Yeah. Because they don't have a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have a wedding planner or a day manager.
Yeah, well, you got to be a wedding planner to be a day manager, because otherwise you don't. You're going to disagree with this. You think that a DJ can be a day manager?
No. Okay. But let's do
Going off on a tangent.
go off on a tangent. But this is a good one.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are on a budget and you do not have a wedding planner and
Invite
day
less
manager,
guests.
right?
That's your second topic.
Sorry, what?
Invite less guests.
Invite less guests. Yeah, there is that as well. However, the thing is that if you book an experienced photographer, videographer that can keep a timeline, because they're going to go through the program, they're going to go through the timeline with you.
But that's not every photographer.
No, it's not. I appreciate, but that's why I'm talking about a photographer with experience.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So basically, it doesn't matter what happens up until when the guests and everyone is supposed to arrive at the venue. It is the photographer's responsibility to get the bride and groom to the venue at the right time.
The right time being when dinner starts.
Well, actually, maybe before that.
Well,
could even be
sure.
like cocktail hour.
Sure, but in a sense, cocktail hour is negotiable. Dinner time begin is not negotiable.
No, that is definitely not negotiable, because
It's the start of your ceremony and dinner time that is non-negotiable
yeah,
in any way.
exactly. So if you're going to do like photos before, but the point is that if you have an experienced and professional photographer, that person can keep the timeline and make sure that within 5 minutes, the bride and groom are be where they need to be. Although I say bride and groom, what I actually mean is a wedding couple.
Party.
Wedding couple.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they can get them there. And then once they're actually in the location, once they're actually in the hall, the DJ can then take over the timeline and make sure that the cake comes when it needs to, the wedding,
Yeah.
the wedding
They
dance
can.
starts when it
They
needs to.
can if they're experienced enough and if they're willing to, but it's not their job.
It's not their
And
job.
it shouldn't be, because they should be able to, in a sense, relax and go with the flow
Yeah.
and do their thing.
Yeah.
I'm aware that
But that's the thing. If you lived in, if we live in that world where there is no budget constraints on anything, then absolutely get a wedding planner.
But I still think that you should get a wedding planner, even if you have budget constraints, because the wedding planner will be able to tell you where you can save some money.
Yeah. Again, I think this is a thing that we say wedding planner, but what we're actually talking about on the wedding day is actually having a day manager.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, or wedding coordinator.
I myself, as a wedding planner, I will start before we get into anything with the budget. Because if there are budget constrictions, I need to know about them. And that will impact all of the choices that you make, from location to what dean sites that you choose.
Yeah.
To how you structure your day, because obviously you're paying more money.
Yeah.
If you're getting extra finger food, for example, after the ceremony, as opposed to putting your wedding cake in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's the tiny little things that wedding planners know.
I know we've gone completely off topic.
Yeah, we have.
But I think this is cool.
Yeah, so do I. You can make a different podcast out of it, whatever it is that you're going to make.
Yeah, but you know, now you saying that, I'm actually thinking now that book a wedding planner. It doesn't matter like what budget that you have. Get a consultation from a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Because of course, somebody who's going to someone who's going to plan your wedding, right, is going to want money as well.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe you don't have the budget for a full plan.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to have a budget to get a consultation, to get tips and tricks on what you can do. And yes, the internet at the moment is literally full of reels and stories about, 5 tips on saving money for your wedding. But that's all well and good. But actually sat down and speaking with somebody, like, yeah, we're doing this for the internet. We're doing this for Instagram or whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that you can't beat actually sat down with a professional.
No, because it's like getting, I don't know, medical advice. You can watch the reels on what to do if you have, I don't know, digestion problems.
Yeah.
Yeah? But talking to an actual doctor about your personal health it's gonna be the nuances that matter for you.
Yeah.
Because an individual consultation is
Well, you're talking about specifics.
Exactly.
Not specifics, but
No, I'm talking about your individual situation. So of course, it's also applicable to you that you're going to save money if you are not going to go full blown. Everything is full of flowers, but you have little accents on every table. Yes, of course. But still, if you then say, for example, oh well, I want the cafe au lait dahlia, where you're paying something like 9 or 10 euros per head. This one flower.
Yeah, not head per person.
No,
like,
not head per person. That's why I'm saying per flower.
Flower head.
Flower head. Flower stems, actually. It's not going to save you that much money, as opposed to, I don't know, getting chrysanthemums, for example.
Oh, that's that word I can't say.
Yes, mummies. So, someone will be able to tell you that, for example. They'll say, okay, so you like this cafe au lait dahlia? Well, it's really, really expensive. I suggest if you want to save a few €100 on your wedding, how about you go with, here it comes again, chrysanthemums instead.
Yeah.
Yeah? And just have some of the pretty dahlias in your wedding bouquet, and maybe in your whatever highlight piece that you have on your church pews or thingy decor.
Yeah.
Towel, wedding aisle, arch thingy.
Ujima flip.
Yes. And that's just being one example, obviously, but
yeah,
and like having the cake after your ceremony, moving the ceremony back a little bit, so you don't have to, wine and dine your guests all day long.
Well, again, that's the other thing as well, that sometimes you'll have these ceremonies that, I don't know, like, I mean, with a church wedding, it's a bit difficult because that they have like these slots and stuff like that, and so therefore it's only going to work at that time. But then you're then at the location, and this cocktail hour is not an hour.
No,
it's
like
2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And the guests are getting
You're gonna
bored.
get bored and hungry.
Yep.
Yep.
And then it comes to like going into the hall,
Yeah.
and then you're doing your opening speech of thanking everyone to come, and half of the guests are going, I'm hungry, I'm hungry,
Yeah.
I'm hungry, not
Yeah,
listening
but
to a
that's-
word you say.
But that's the other aspect of consulting a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Not just to tell you where you can save money and what tips you may be able to get from them, but just looking at your individual situation, at your plan, at your priorities for the day. So I'm saying, like, put your wedding cake after the ceremony. Yeah, well, now I get a couple that says, we don't even want wedding cake. What are we going to do then? That kind of thing. So I'll have a tip for them as well.
Yeah.
And they won't have to watch 360,000 reels with 5 wedding planning top tips.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
Which does not say a single thing about
what if
wedding
you don't
cake.
like wedding cake. Yeah, but it's that whole thing, you get really overwhelmed. You're consuming reel after reel after reel. And you're trying to take on board all of these tips when, well, really, you're only getting married once in a lifetime, ideally. I mean, yes, sure, several people get married twice these days, but just in general, you're not that experienced at weddings, and us professionals are, because that's what we do and what we work with every single day. And we know the ins and outs.
Unless you started your career sort of during the pandemic.
Unless
When there was an event ban on. And
What?
then you're talking to people and you're like, oh, what are you? I'm a wedding planner. Yeah, okay. When did you start? 2021?
Oh yeah, so you started with a lot of style shoots then? That's just like a wedding.
So, absolutely, there's no difference between the two.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
No,
none.
mm-mm.
Oh, you didn't walk down that aisle like quite correctly. Can you do it again? Yeah, sure, let's do it
Yeah.
again. I didn't
Okay,
quite get
can
that
you
shot.
look a little bit happier. Can you kiss again?
I mean, yeah, fair enough, those, but style shoots are style shoots.
Style shoots are style shoots. They're great for
It's really good.
inspiration.
If you double the word, it has more impact. It is what it is.
Style shoots are style shoots are style shoots are style shoots. Yeah.
No, but they're not real weddings.
No, they're not real weddings. They're
And you miss the kiss, that's it. You've
Yeah.
missed the kiss.
You've missed the kiss.
Don't get to do it again. Well, sometimes you can.
Sometimes. But
In general.
yeah, style shoots are great for inspiration, but unfortunately they're blowing people's expectations way out of proportion.
Oh yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. And I literally get
If you want the
inspiration
perfect
for
wedding, the absolute, utter, complete perfect wedding,
Interesting style.
be a
Pinterest
style
mood
shoot, be a style shoot, be a Pinterest move. No, be a style shoot wedding couple, and then do style shoots, and then you get to have your perfect wedding,
Yeah.
because weddings don't always run to plan.
No, they
And
don't.
it's not like you're like constantly trying to like pick up bits, like sort of
No.
like from all a wedding falling apart. But no, things don't happen exactly how you expect them to be.
No, and that's why you need a professional on board again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the Dean Slicer.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Dean
The
Slicer.
vendors, the wedding vendors.
Vendors. So they're getting towards their end. They're booked for their 8 hours, 10 hours. They're getting towards the end of it. The opening dance hasn't been done, and we want to move things along. Things are falling out of hand. We want to move along, and you don't want these people to go over time, but they are going to go over time. There's nothing you can do about it. And so some people are saying, don't discuss money.
I'm saying discuss money before the wedding. It's as easy as that.
Well, that you get done anyway. If you're booked for 8 hours, then
You
yes, as a
say-
wedding couple, you absolutely have to say, so what happens if?
No, I think, yeah, sure. The wedding couple should ideally ask that. In a perfect world, the wedding planner would know this and communicate it to their client.
Yeah.
That if you book this photographer for 8 hours, that's the price that you have in the contract with them.
Yeah.
But if you overdraw, so to speak, yeah, then they're going to charge you an extra 350 euros per hour, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in an ideal world, the wedding planner will then go to the couple and say, "We haven't got round to this and that because of this and that. So do you want the photographer to stay for the opening dance?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be an extra.
It's going to be as what was discussed.
It's going to be charged extra. You don't have to say it's going to be charged such and such amount of euros extra or dollars or whatever.
But I think you've got to bring it up.
You have to bring it up.
Yeah.
And you have to go to them, address it, and get their consent.
I do it all the time.
Yes. I do it all the time.
I mean, I don't expect a wedding planner or day manager to stay till 2:00 in the morning. But if I'm booked at 2:00 in the morning to DJ, I'm going to have to go to the couple and say, okay, so we said 2.
Yeah.
I also said that I will play longer. It's not a set thing, but my package was based around me DJing till 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we're getting near 2:00.
So what
do we do? Do I round it? Do we end this not abruptly at 2:00, but do we round everything up so that within, say, 15-20 minutes everything ends, or shall I play longer?
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes I will advise the clients or the wedding couple to end it.
Yeah.
Because if there's only 7 or 10 people there, then don't pay me an extra hour.
Yeah.
Because it's really difficult keeping 10 people dancing after they've already been at the event for nearly 12 hours.
Yeah, sure. I also think that there is nothing wrong with talking about money on the wedding day, because otherwise it's just going to cause problems. If you don't get their consent, in a sense, if you don't get your client's consent, then they're going to have grounds on which to argue with you about.
Oh yeah.
Because
imagine it goes on like 2-3 hours, and then you're like, okay, so that's another €1,500.
Yeah, and they're gonna think, oh well, they're staying out of, I don't know, their own free will or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the people who think.
I mean, let's just remind ourselves of the conversation where people don't want to pay you to drive to a church.
I was just gonna make the reference myself. People will they will literally have discussions with you about, so why is this an hour extra? And it's like, because I have to actually go there. I have to drive there and back to set this stuff up for you. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to charge you for that.
Yep.
And they're like, I don't want to pay for that. So I'm thinking like, yeah, well, do it yourself then.
Yeah.
Fine, just get your phone out. Have your guests take the photos of your opening dance. Have your guests smack on a Spotify list with your loudspeaker of your phone. Yeah. It's like,
Get your guests to hang up the light chains and then have them swearing profusely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why the hell they ever decided to do that?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing of it. I mean, sure, we love our jobs, but we also like to be able to put foods on our tables.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, the bottom line of it is you don't want to give any unexpected surprises.
No, exactly. And that is an unexpected surprise.
Yeah.
Because if you do not communicate this clearly, then it just invites conflict.
I'm sure there's going to be somebody watching this video and they're going to go, yeah, but if you've already discussed it, then why do you have to discuss it again on the evening? And it's like, well, yes, absolutely.
Because they may be in their happy wedding bubble, not even looking at the time.
No.
They may be blissfully unaware that we've already gone way past the time that was planned for the opening dance to be, because all the aunties and uncles had surprises and performances and little speeches and gifts, handing overs and shows and whatnot.
But this shows the difference, and I think this really got to be underlined. I think this shows the difference between the wedding industry and normal, should we say, practices of companies. Mm-hmm. You order something from a company, a service company. I don't know. telephone company or whatever it is, doesn't matter, cable, yeah? And they have their stipulations, they have their terms and conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And you might, you get a certain package and then you run over it. It's in the terms and conditions, you run over and you get a bill.
Yeah.
I had this once when I was doing a wedding in the UK, and this was when they were doing this whole roaming.
What did you have there? You had to pay more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
€1,000 more.
Yeah.
Which was a bit shocking.
Yes.
And this was back in time when you had to pay an absolute fortune for like megabytes of stuff, not gigabytes,
Yeah,
megabytes.
sure, but get there faster. Sorry.
No, and the thing is that you run over, you get charged more, right?
Yeah.
It's in our terms and conditions. You didn't read them or whatever it is, it's not done,
Yeah.
right? Now, you can apply that same principle to your terms and conditions as a wedding vendor. Absolutely. It's all detailed, it's all spoken beforehand. They run over, you charge them extra. And when they say, yeah, but I wasn't aware of it, I wasn't quite sure, why didn't you tell me? And you're like, well, we discussed it, and it's also in my terms and conditions. So deal with it and pay the money.
Yeah.
However, this is weddings,
Yeah.
and everything is very much interconnected.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're creating bad vibes.
Yeah.
And that then spreads out to other wedding guests that were there that are also looking at getting married.
Yeah, sure.
And then they don't book you
Yeah.
because of that incident. And it doesn't matter that you're in the right. It was how
Yeah.
you dealt with it.
Exactly.
So discuss it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if they don't want to pay and they don't want you to be there,
Then you go. It's as easy as that.
It's
Then
all
you
done.
get to sleep an hour longer.
oh, isn't that a bliss?
It is.
An extra hour.
Now we have to wrap things on.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Yeah. But
With what?
now we have to press stop because I need to get my phone because someone's picking something up.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.